Hey everyone! Today we're going to dive deep into Aaron Beck's cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm warning you that this may get intense, so I want to emphasize that if you have any questions, ask. I would also suggest watching my previous video overviewing CBT before going forward. It will help. So here we go. According to cognitive theory, our emotions are not caused by the situation themselves, but our thoughts about the situation. Beck suggests cognitions or thoughts are responsible for what we feel. The simple version of the cognitive model is that an event happens, you have automatic thoughts about the event, followed by your reaction. For example, you feel tired when you wake up, so you have the thought that there's no use in getting up for class, and you feel sad. Now this is an oversimplification. The cognitive model may look more like this. You get up and you feel tired. You say to yourself that there's no use in getting up. And then you feel sad. Then you think about a quiz that you have that day and how you may fail. That leads to you feeling anxious, which amplifies your heart rate. You notice your heart beating fast and you think, what's wrong with me? And immediately think I should stay in bed. Then you feel a relief. Your tension and heart rate reduce and you stay in bed. That shows the complex interaction between thoughts, emotions, situations, your physiological response and behavior. How this conceptualizes for each person is different. That's why therapists need to be fully trained to implement this properly. Cognitive behavioral therapy deals mainly with thoughts, and there are a variety of thoughts that they look at. First, there are automatic thoughts. These are the actual words and images that almost spontaneously happen after an event. Beck suggests that these thinking patterns are set up in childhood and become automatic and relatively fixed. Core beliefs are fundamental truths that usually take the form of I am blank. There are three categories that negative core beliefs fall under: hopeless, unlovable, and worthless. The next type of thought is known as a schema. Usually these are interchangeable with the term belief, but Beck says that schema are the general cognitive structures, whereas beliefs are the specific content. They're more like networks that contain core beliefs, if-then statements, and strategies to deal with the situations. For example, you may have the core belief that I am worthless, have the conditional belief that if I say how I feel, people will leave me. You may have an interpersonal strategy that consists of I pretend not to care so that they stay, and the schema is actually the combination of these and other connected ideas. The term schema actually shows up in cognitive psychology as well. It's described as an overarching mental framework that represents a set of ideas or a set way to organize new information. A very easy example is that of a chair. When I say that term, what kind of chair are you thinking of? An armchair, a bar stool, a foldable chair, a wooden or a metal chair, or a soft chair? The schema is the overarching thing that we imagine, the abstract conceptualization of something that you sit on, which has this vague shape. That's the schema. After schemata, you have intermediate beliefs, which include attitudes, rules, and assumptions. What follows are my interpretations since no definitions were given. Attitudes are kind of how you feel towards circumstances. For example, it's terrible to fail, or it's good to succeed. Rules are how you behave when those certain circumstances arise. Do you give up if a challenge seems too great? And then assumptions usually follow this formula. If X, then Y. If I try something, then I will fail. Therefore, I shouldn't try. On top of the cognitive model, Beck also constructed an information processing model. He suggested that depressed people intake information differently from those with relatively normal affect. CBT theory suggests that when someone depressed has a negative core belief such as I'm incompetent, they will take in information that confirms that belief and deny or ignore information that disproves that belief. As an example, one with this core belief may have paid their bills on time, got their car fixed, and even got a raise from their boss. However, they won't even consider the first two as possibly positive things. The person who got a raise may still say to themselves, I didn't deserve it, which further reinforces their belief that they're incompetent. Cognitive distortions and biases are exaggerated or irrational thought patterns. One distortion is that called black and white thinking, polarized thinking, or splitting. People with this pattern will only see things as bad or good. Things are far more complex than that. And actually, Alan Watts has a story called The Parable of the Farmer that illustrates this very well. I am going to show you the full list of cognitive distortions that Beck describes, but very briefly for time's sake. Just pause if need be. Keep in mind that there are tens more of distortions and biases recognized now, but these are the ones that Beck recognized at the time. They're also going to be the ones that you'll see the most. So Beck describes thoughts as the problem, and we went into detail describing the thoughts and how they might go wrong. What might be the method for inducing change for these clients? Beck suggests that in order to somebody really feel better, their core beliefs need to change. They need to have more positive, reality-based, and functional ideas about themselves and reality. This isn't positive or wishful thinking. Changing "I'm powerless" to "I'm all-powerful" is not the goal. It's more like changing "I'm powerless" to "I have some control over a lot of things." Another thing to realize with looking at core beliefs, calling them irrational or bad beliefs can be detrimental to therapy. Some self-critical clients will start beating themselves on having these thoughts. So an important reminder is that some attitudes, rules, and beliefs were helpful in the past. For example, when somebody was a child, it may have been helpful or even beneficial for them to avoid people. Perhaps they were abused, and avoiding the situation helped reduce the amount of provocations. However, now that they're an adult, in an otherwise safe and healthy relationship, that old behavior and accompanying belief are unhelpful and actually counterproductive to the relationship. It's wise to realize this, for the words of a CBT therapist may produce unhelpful cognitions in the client, such as "I have bad thoughts" or "I can't think right." Compassion is a very necessary tool. I will get into techniques next week on how to create change, but for now, all you need to know is that CBT therapists cultivate change through challenging unhelpful beliefs and strengthening positive ones. I hope this video was helpful for you. Most of the information in this video came from the second edition of Beck's Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. The book goes even more in depth and gives you realistic examples of how to use CBT. I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like to check it out. Next week, we get to look at cognitive behavioral techniques and strategies. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and do me a favor and have a good day. Thank you.